have you ever been pressured or feel tempted, like, to do that just to get to the paper sometimes? Like, just to be like, let me go and do this so I can get this paper.
Never tempted, but pressured. Well, I wouldn't even use the word pressured. Approached, slickly suggested, in my ear, like, man, you ought to try. You know what? You're another artist. You always get them you orders.
Yeah.
Man, you ought to. Why don't you try to? That type of conversation. I mean, but once you rooted in who you are as an artist, that stuff bounce off you, man. It don't even have an effect on you because I already know who I am. I've been doing this 30 years, so I don't have an identity crisis. When I first started, when I was 13, then I was trying to be like Run DMC. I didn't know who I was. I was growing, evolving. But here I am now. I mean, that don't work on me. So, I mean, sometimes people that care about you, they'll look at where you at and they'll say, man, you should be where that guy is, or you should be up there where those people are. But in reality, man, if you're content with what you're doing and able to sleep at night knowing that I didn't compromise who I am as an artist to get to where they feel like I should be, then I'm good. I'm good, man. I never feel pressure to switch up and change, especially now because after all these years, I got a core audience that know what I'm about.
Yeah, and they rock with
you. They rock with me and they look for me to be how I am. So to do a 180 on that, I'm an instant sellout. Instant,
They might not gravitate to that or feel that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Let me ask you, for the people, because I know people want to know, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person that would want to know this, like, as far as the music scene, just culturally coming from here to everywhere, because we kind of, like, we have a situation to where the world is kind of like doing us, but some of us are not doing us. How do you feel about the music scene here at home or just around? I'm not just gonna say here at home, but just our region, period, for the people. What do you think about it and where it's going? What's your likes? What's your likes and dislikes? Do you have any, a few of them, or?
I mean, globally, the eyes of the world are on the South. And like you say, not just Houston, but the whole region, man. When you talk about Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, all those southern states have forged their way in the game to the extent of where at some point in time, somebody in one of those states has sat on that throne. Whether it been Face, whether it been Master P,
That's right.
whether it been Outkast, whether it been David Banner, what Rick Ross and them is doing in Florida. So I mean, the eyes of the world have been fixated on the South really for well over a decade. So now what you're starting to see a lot of the artists on different coasts and different parts of the world starting to emulate what we do out here. The music is slowing down. They starting to get more towards the way we do it. Everybody know about Screw. Everybody know who Screw is and what Screw and Chop represents. So, I mean, from that standpoint, I'm proud. But from another standpoint, just from the standpoint of subject matter and content and the substance that's lacking in the music, even for my own reason, I'm disappointed in it. Because we've been around too long. This thing been going on too long for us to still be kind of on a lot of the same nonsense that we rap about, and that the so-called powers, the commercial radio and mainstream media and all that they tend to put out there, perpetuate and feed into the minds of the youth in the black communities and Hispanic communities, and we gravitate towards that, not even having a knowledge or understanding that a conscious side of hip-hop ever existed or do exist.
That's right.
So in that regard, it's not 100% our fault as far as on the whole. So we have to take it to the higher power and put the pressure on them to say, man, look, y'all need to start filtering in some more balance into y'all playlists, so that way our children ain't being poisoned by a lot of this trash. Yeah, exactly. Straight up.
And I can dig that, because that's what it's about. You know what I mean? That's a big deal too. You know what I mean?